Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Got Heartbroken and Become Crimson Dragon of Domination Part 2. Before we start, please go support Dorita DK for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. Recovery time. A few days after the raiding game and some light recovery, Issei woke up in his bed feeling great. He opened his eyes and saw the nice bright light and saw his girlfriend sleeping next to him with a smile on her face while she rested her head on his chest, cuddling him, enjoying his warmth. Issei. I have more time, I must be super lucky, but I have more time with her. Greg. Partner, we still need to figure out what else you can do. It was the first time I've ever done the spell and it worked, so I don't know what to expect. Issei. Well, I feel great, actually better than before I started falling. It's like I can feel the power flowing through my body without restraint or blockage, like my potential was unleashed. Greg. Your body has gotten far stronger, almost like you weren't dying a few days ago. Magic reserves, endurance, muscle mass, everything is growing. I'm finding it very interesting watching the changes happen. I wonder what the next fight is going to be like. Issei. Me too, over the past few days I'm getting fragments of what I did, and I must say it's super cool. But tell me something, what should we try and accomplish now? I'm free now, we can honestly do as we please now, no devils using me, we free. Greg. Indeed, I also have put some thought into it. With the way things are looking now, you should be past peak performance in a few more days, but I'm fine with anything. Perhaps enjoy life for a change, not fighting every other day. Issei. Speaking of which, what's my life force looking like? Perhaps we can get that fixed first. Greg. Still the same after you use the drive. I agree, we can have that fixed, you never know, that could be a nice start to a new beginning for both of us. Issei. There are 2 sage users with the experience that I need, but who? Greg. Go to the fox in Kyoto. If we go to that black cat, it might turn into a fight with the rest of her team, even if she is willing to help you. Issei. He'll talk to Azazel by the end of the week about taking a leave of absence to go see Asaka. He then decided to have some fun and just held Arena in her sleep, and she instinctively snuggled up to him, just trying to be closer to him. After a few minutes he kissed her forehead and got out of bed. He got dressed and went to check on Ravel and found her sleeping soundly. Still, he made a note and left it by their phones about where he's going and will be back later. He then walked outside feeling free. The relief of not dying so soon was a huge weight off his shoulders, and the fact he doesn't need to answer to anyone anymore was a new feeling he could get used to. He went to a music shop to go get 2 guitars for the sake of playing an instrument again. He wondered which 2 should he get, a normal one or electric or banjo, ukulele, a sitar, or even just one of them. As he walked to the store, he saw a dealership with a few nice cars and saw one that caught his eyes in particular. Issei. I was told I'll be getting my shares of the show when I either reach high class or when I turn 18, and I reached high class first, so I guess I can get me a car. That old man didn't teach me how to drive, so before I can get my license, let's see what lessons are looking like for the time being, then when I get the money, then I can go get it. Hopefully it's still here when the time comes. He continued walking, then arrived at the music store. He saw a classic guitar and he knew he had to get one, so he took it off the shelf. Then when he looked at electric guitars, he went for a black one with a fire-looking pattern on it. He took it with a small amp and all the cables he will need to use it. As he was paying for it, he heard a group of guys worried about something. What are we going to do with him? We can't perform anymore. GUI2. We can't cancel last minute, we have already spent the money for the concert and stadium and it's past the date to return the tickets to. GUI3. I still think we should opt for a temp replacement, then we can worry about it later. We can even pay them his portion for their contributions for the night. They sound beyond stressed and panicked, so Issei decides to go see if he can help them out. Issei. Is everything alright? You guys sound stressed. We are beyond stressed. Our lead singer and guitarist decided to get involved with the wrong girls last night and he was killed. No, we need a replacement singer and player, so we are in the market for a temporary one. You wouldn't happen to be a singer, would you? I can clearly see you can play. Issei. Yay, I can sing. I guess you guys found me at the right time. I'm a fast learner and good with my hands, so I can play tunes extremely fast and I can sing various amounts of songs in different genres. GUI2 came to hug him, fake crying. GUI2. Fake crying. God has sent us a blessing, maybe he won't get angry at us this time around. Issei. So, want to go and practice now and see if I can pick up on these songs quick enough. GUI3. I like where your head is, a kid, let's go. Issei. Alright, let me just tell my girlfriend that I'm going to be out a bit longer than I thought, don't need her worrying about me. Happy wife, happy life. Issei. My point exactly. They walked to the studio and Issei was amazed by the equipment in the place and the various instruments that he could all play. Right, first off, we also are the band for and along with, so we are going to be playing a bunch of songs from those groups, but now we might need a name change as a group because our friend died. Issei. Smiling, oh bring it on, I'm just a huge fan of all those groups, and now I'm your lead singer and guitarist. Issei took the electric guitar and played one of their most popular songs, and still sang it too. He was slightly off key here and there, but it was possible, very possible for him to sing for them. GUI3. We may not need to make you attempt, you hit most of the notes perfectly, only one or two were off, this might be a perfect fit. Issei. Let's see for group 2, I know she's singing and I'll be handling the guitar for her. He played the guitar to one of their other group singers' songs, and he hit that completely perfectly. GUI2. I'm calling the manager to forget making you a temporary replacement, you're definitely not leaving after this. I agree man, you have talent and skill, why not stay with us for a few years, then down the line you can start branching off with your own music, or even in the beginning you can skyrocket with your skills. Issei. Surprised, really, you let me do all this. GUI3. It's difficult to find musicians such as yourself that can sing and play 98% of the time, it's either one or the other, and we can help you reach your peak and then higher than your peak and help guide you from doing something that wouldn't be good. It's a hard world we bringing you into. Issei. Then I'm honored, I have school tomorrow, I end around 3 p.m, can we practice again? For sure kid, don't stress about it, you can leave. Oh wait, give us your number so we can contact you in the unlikely event we need to do it a bit later and you arrive and no one is here. Issei. Smart. They exchanged details, and Issei was given the number of the manager, so he knew when he calls him. Issei took his things and then went back home. He wasn't going to tell Irina or Ravel about what happened, he wanted it to be a surprise for them, they could use it. He smiled as he walked home. When he got back home, he opened the door and found both of them watching TV waiting for him. Irina. Darling, where did you go? She came to greet him and gave him a kiss. Issei. Happy, that's going to be a huge surprise, trust me. Irina. Happy, alright. Ravel. But what you got there? She took one of them and opened them and saw it's a guitar. Issei. I decided to start playing again and then to top it all off I'll be singing too. Irina. Blushing happy, really. She pulled him into a bear-crushing hug and smiled, happy that the old him is coming back and even happier that he's living again. Ravel. This is an amazing thing, Ice, but I do have a question. During the game you did something that you've never done before, what was it? Issei. I guess I didn't really explain what happened, alright, let's sit and have some tea and biscuits. The three of them set up everything they needed and afterward they sat down with the two girls looking at Issei. Issei. Alright, do you remember when I was blasted back from Sarayarg and he was beating me repeatedly? The two nodded. Issei. Well, Drake made a spell to turn me into a dragon, it's how and why I pulled out the chess pieces. I wasn't bound by Rias anymore, so I'm free. I'm still not sure what my power is going to be like, but I'm not a devil anymore. Ravel. But. He looked at her and she looked despondent and sad. Issei. I know you were going to be part of my peerage, but I still need a manager. Smiles. He saw her eyes light up again and she had a smile on her face. Issei. There she is, I'm still famous in the underworld, so I'm going to need you around for a long time, and I did make a promise to look after you and I intend to do so. He messed up her hair and she just accepted it with a big smile on her face. Irina. So your transformation was you becoming fully a dragon? Excited, it was so cool, you have to show us what you can do now. I don't care about the markings that look like tattoos, I still want to see what you can do. She had a massive smile on her face and her eyes were sparkling so bright that it made Issei's heart skip a beat. He just took a sip of his tea, then spoke. Issei. Well, I'll do that in time. Drake said to not do anything for a few more days. He wants to see how my reserves are looking like now, and they are already higher than it was before I was dying. Irina. That's amazing, Ice, I'm happy for you. Smiling. Issei. Thank you. Smiling. Ravel. But what about the others? They desperately trying to talk to you and I've been meaning to ask, you still even love them anymore? Irina and Ravel looked at him thinking about it. Issei. You know what, I don't think I'm really going to talk to them much anymore. Maybe, I don't know. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Plus you don't stop loving someone, it's a habit, and I need to figure out if it was lust or love first. They could see he really wasn't sure about it, but decided to support him since it's what they agreed to a while ago. Irina. But what about me? Issei. It's love, I know it's love. There's just this feeling when I'm around you and I can't get enough of it. I love being around you, I can be myself and don't need to worry about what others think. When I'm with you then nothing else matters. Smiles. They could see it on his face, he was being genuine about it's how he really feels around her and it just made her feel his love even more. She blushed and held his hand and Ravel had more teasing material for Irina, but what she didn't know was that Issei is watching her too and has some teasing material on her too now. Issei. So yay, that's all it is. Ravel. Well, however you feel about them, I still support you and your decisions, but I will say if it's stupid though, can't have my client doing stupid things like he is. Issei. Oh really now, if I didn't know any better you were checking me out a few moments ago. Ravel. Blushing flustered, it's not like that, It's just me looking at you in a general sense, even if I was looking at you like that it wouldn't be professional at all. Her blush was going crazy, it was almost as bright as Ria's hair, and her breathing and trying to break eye contact with him was good enough to make them start laughing at her antics. Issei laughing, geez, you're easy to mess with, you know that. He just brought her into a side hug and she had a few tears in her eyes and was pouting. Ravel. Pouting, mumbling, Baka Issei. Issei. What was that? Ravel. Flustered Baka Issei. The rest of the day for them was spent having fun and relaxing. They had to admit it was a bit of a hectic time during these past few days, so they going to enjoy the rest of the weekend. Later in the Haidu mansion. Mickey. It's been a quiet day, hasn't it? Rias. It has, mother, but what do we do now? He's completely left us, we can't even talk to him at school. He either just ignores us or we don't see him at all, it's almost like he doesn't exist anymore. He didn't even come by during the festival. Both Mickey and Gauro could see it, they were sad and they no one but themselves to blame for this. Gauro. I know my son, but this is new, he's never held a grudge for this long, and to top it all off he's never left home. The worst he's done was just lock himself in his room and sit alone for a few hours, but then he always came back to us later that day. But he's moved out and only took clothing, not even any of his manga or porn, he just left as it is untouched for a while. Knock knock. Zenobia. I'll go get it. She got up to go and open the door while the others sat and thought. Ikeno. We really hurt him a lot this time. But how do we fix it? Zenobia. Issei. It shocked them that he was here at the house. They all quickly shot up and saw him walk in, not even looking at them. He walked in and went straight upstairs. His looks and attitude only showed irritation and frustration. Gauro. Confused, did I speak too soon? Rias. Zenobia, what's going on? Zenobia. Shocked, I don't know, he just showed up and there is another person with him, but he said he's going to wait outside. Kaneko. Weird. He came downstairs with his boxes full of poor manga, everything in one arm. They watched him walk outside and give it to the other man he's with, and the man handed him a huge stack of cash. They shook on it, and the man took the boxes and then drove off, and Issei came back to the house. Mickey. Son. Issei. I don't want to hear it, here. He took a portion of the cash and put it in Mickey's hands. Issei. Here's the payment for looking after me, I'll be handling my own finances from now on. Now here is something for your troubles, and you only have yourselves to blame for this. He then bowed and left them shocked by what he said, and Mickey just started shedding tears. She never wanted this, she didn't want this at all, she just cried her heart out. Her baby boy really left them. Rias. We need to fix this, let's go see my brother, mother, father, we will be back. In the underworld in the Gremory territory. Then Alana. Oh my, this is sad, well maybe we can adopt him. Zeotix. And make him a Gremory Baylor Lucifuge. Raphia. Why don't we ask him? There is even the off chance he might go to Seraphil as well, remember he went to her instead of us when he was dying, so perhaps their initial relationship has improved to what it was. There's also the off chance he goes to the Phoenix family. Surziches. It's sad honestly, and was I thinking about it, he's not even a devil anymore. You all saw the evil pieces get ripped out and then he crushed them. He's not part of Ria's peerage anymore. I don't even think she realized it. Zeotix. Deep breath. I'm very upset with my daughter, I suggest a punishment of sorts. Surziches. Father, but what punishment? It's punishment enough that he doesn't talk to her anymore and doesn't even want to look at her, and when she learns that he's not part of her peerage anymore, she'll only suffer more if she doesn't know already. The door opened to show Milikas walking in with Rias behind him. Milikas. Happy Aunt Rias is here. Rias and her peerage walked through the door. Surziches. Want to know when your wedding to Riser is set? Rias wanted to get upset but put it aside, she knows her brother is upset with her. Rias. No, that's not why we are here. We want to apologize to Issei, but haven't had a chance to talk to him. Whenever we try he leaves instantly, and if we want to make things any better, we need to know what he is feeling. So I wanted to ask you if you could call him here and tell him why I don't want him to hate you too like he does us, and I don't want it to feel like a betrayal towards him. Then Alana. Looks like someone is thinking about their actions. Rias. Mother, we have made a mistake and we want to fix it even if I never talk to us again. Surziches. So be it. He made a magic circle and called Issei. Surziches. Hello Issei, I know you probably don't want to hear this, but it's the only way they think you will talk to them, but they want to know how you are feeling, and they will listen. They watched as he put down and a small ball of fire started to take shape in the living room and then became larger and Issei came out of it. They could see his build looking larger and he even looks healthier than before. They could trace his magic, but it seems different. His hair took a darker tone when they got a good look and his eyes seem more red than golden like they used to. He was in a compression shirt and baggy pants and they could still see some embers burning off his body. Surziches. You look 1000 times better. Issei. Thanks, I'm feeling better too. Hello mother, father, Graphia, Milikas, how are you today? Zeotix. Disappointed honestly, but after this I wish to talk to you about something. Issei. Sure, I've completed the things I wanted to do for the day. Irina and Ravel are busy finishing their sets at the gym, so I'll see them at home, and I sold my porn and started doing other things I've put off for too long. Then Alana. Why did you sell it, my child? Issei. Better mince it set, and I don't really care about what they have to say. I'm over it, I could really care less. His words struck them hard. They didn't expect him to be this cold to them. Issei. Tearing up. Issei. Let me explain something to you lot about dragons, but first, what do you actually know about them? His eyes started to look like they were glowing. They could see the anger in his eyes. Kyoto. They are emotional creatures, and their emotions are far greater than ours. Oh no. The full impact of their actions hit them like a truck. He was suffering more than them. It started to make sense to why he didn't want to see them or talk to them. Riaz. Issei. Hold it, Riaz, let me finish. All of you just listen. When a dragon loses his mates, or when the dragon's mate turns on it, do you know what happens? They shook their heads. He held up 2 fingers in front of his chest. Issei. One of 2 things can happen. The first is that the dragon gets stronger and becomes evil, and ask Surziches when he fought Drag in his full form. Now imagine me at a higher power level than that. Surziches. You could wipe out the whole underworld in seconds, and no one but a stronger dragon will stop you. Issei. Exactly, and since I would have been emotional in that state, the other dragons would be on my side, and no one could stop us, not even the Devil Kings. Do you see where I'm going with this? They silently nodded. Issei. The second thing is death. When a dragon loses its mates, it falls and slowly dies an agonizing death. They all looked at him, shocked, confused, and threatening to start crying. Issei. Symptoms of that fall are black marks around its body, looking sick and pale, can't use magic to heal the body, and becomes completely weak. Guess which one I had? They started crying, looking at him. Issei. At the time Ross was Irina and Ravel knew. I didn't tell anyone because I didn't need anyone's pity party and fake tears, especially your group, if you figured out that you killed me during the game. I still fought against Sererg with a dying body, and then when I transformed, I freed myself from the fallen you. He pointed at Riaz, and some of the embers started burning again, causing him to slowly start smoking. Riaz. Crying, why from me? Issei. I ripped out your evil pieces and crushed them into dust. I'm no longer a devil, and you can no longer control me, neither can the Devil Kings, but since they my friends ill help them, so they have nothing to worry about. They all broke down crying at his feet. Riaz crying, I'm sorry, I was stupid, I was horrible to you, I didn't treat you fairly, I deserve to be punished. Issei. What punishment would even be suitable? I'm sure your family agrees me just being away from you is punishment enough, but I'm not evil, I'd rather get this over with. Relighting the fire each time isn't doing anyone any good. Zenobia crying, so the fire meant your mood towards us? Issei. Yes, and at that point, you kept relighting it, making things worse for me. Only towards the end did things better, by it was too late. Now are we done? I want to go home to the people that actually care for me. Riaz. Crying, please no, give us another chance. Asia crying, I promise I won't hurt you again. Kaneko. Crying, I won't be as hard on you like I was before. Keno. Crying, I won't let anyone hurt you like we did. Zenobia crying, I promise to think before I speak. Issei. Prove it, because right now I have thought about forgiving any of you. Keno crying, but. Issei. We done here. He stepped away from them and calmed himself down before he did something he regrets. Issei. Now then, Zetches, I want you to give them some training because I'm not going to be in their fights anymore. Surziches. Sure, I'll see what I have done for them. Issei. Cool, now then I'm off, I'll see you all around. He opened the fire portal, and as he was about to walk through, he was stopped. Then Alana. Issei, wait, we would like to adopt you. We heard about your family issues and want to help. Zeotix. Even Graphia wants to adopt you into her family as her brother. Issei. So I'll be a Grimoire Bail or Lucifuge. Graphia. That's right. Issei. Can I have a few days to think on it? It's a big thing to think about, and I want to be sure about it. Surziches. Take your time, brother, it's alright. Issei. Cool, see you all around, enjoy the rest of your day. He bowed and fell through his portal, leaving them. Then Alana. Happy, I'm happy he still sees me as his mother. Riaz. He will be your son again. I may not be his number 1 anymore, but I will bring him home as your son-in-law. Surziches. I'll believe it when I see it. He got up and left along with Graphia. Back with Issei. He teleported back to his apartment door and stretched his back. Issei. Man, today was productive, I even got to speak my mind towards them. He opened the door to his apartment and found Ravel and Irina on the floor crying in pain. Issei. Oh, come on, it wasn't so bad. Irina. Whining, yes it was, I can't feel my body. Ravel. Whining, not even my phoenix abilities are working well anymore. Issei. It'll get better, I promise. Both. Whining, lies, I call lies, who hurts themselves like this on purpose. Ravel. Whining, I know crazy people. Issei. Oh, please, that wasn't anything. Irina whining, at least helps us get to the couch, please. Issei. Sure, thing, I don't mind. He picked them up without any effort and they just dangled from his arms like they were jelly. He placed them down and crouched in front of them. Issei. Want me to run a bath for you both? Irina. Tired, please. Issei. He'll make it a bubble bath. He went to run the bath for them. Ravel. Tired, what did we do to have him in our lives? Irina. We loved him, that's why. Ravel. Blushing, who said I love him? Her eyes darted to the bathroom and then back to Irina, and a large blush covered her already red cheeks. Irina. Please, it's written all over your face. Ravel. Fine, but I want to give you more time with him before I start doing anything. I want to know him like you know him before anything. Issei. In the bathroom. Hey, your bath is ready. Both. Coming. Over the next few weeks, Issei secretly went to go and practice with his new band members. After school, they all thought that he was training due to the fact his physique was getting better and he was looking happier. He even had a new spree of confidence, but he was doing that while getting his license in order to drive a car. In class, Irina, Zenobia, Asia, Roswas, Akia and Kadis were all having a small chat during the break. Akia. Irina, what happened to your man? He's become so much better in everything. Irina. Smiling, I don't know, but I support everything he's doing. All I know is that he has started singing again. The girls were surprised that he can even sing. Asia. He's singing. Irina. When we at home I hear him singing now and again. He doesn't realize it, but he sings when he's doing almost anything. Kadis. Where is he now? Roswas. He asked to go and talk to Azazel about some time off. With Issei. He's currently taking a test and Surzich's Azazel and Zeodix are currently watching him take a test. Surzich's. I'm worried about him. Zeodix. You too. Azazel. I'm the same. After you told me what happened I couldn't believe it myself, but I think you would agree with me. I feel like shit due to the fact that we saw him in his dying state and we couldn't see it, nor could we have helped him if we did see it. Surzich's. I agree, I do feel bad that he couldn't find the strength to come and talk to us, but on another note, I'm happy to see his progress. He's becoming a man. I've been told by Serafal from Sona that he's managed to bring all his grades up decently as well, and he hasn't been doing anything lustful in a while. It's like he matured at the right time. Azazel. You and I can bother agree that near death is the best teacher. Surzich's. Oh, I agree, but the thought of him turning evil and attacking us and being stronger than the Red Dragon, imagine the death and carnage that would be left behind. Azazel. Worse than the war between the clans, but then again, he makes us all work together, so your sister. Surzich's. Actually, making the attempts to make things right. I'm surprised honestly, she been asking me tips on to make him see her like he did before. Azazel. And now he's getting his license. Zeodix. You think he wanted his brotherly figure and both fatherly figures with him for if he passes? Surzich's. Then I'm honored. Actually, he may not notice it, but it's something normal to do and think about it lately. We have been a bit stressed. Azazel. Here. Zeodix. Look, here he comes, he looks happy. Azazel. And. Issei. I passed, I can officially drive. He had a smile on his face and showed them his new license. Surzich's. Congregate's brother. Zeodix. Congrats son. Azazel. Well done kid. They all came to either give him a hug or pat his back. Issei. Thanks guys, smiles. Now I need a car and I already have one that I want. Surzich's. Do I have access to my funds? Surzich's. You had access for about a week now. I was meant to tell you but didn't have the time. Issei. Sweet, want to come with me to go get it? Azazel. Oh, hell yeah. They four men went to go and find the dealership. On arrival they saw a lot of very sporty cars. Zeodix. Which one caught your eye? Ice. Issei. That dark blue one in the corner. Azazel. Damn, that's a nice ride. Issei. Well then let's go blow their minds by buying this cash. Surzich's. This is going to be interesting. Sales rep. Hi there, what can I help you with for today? Issei. I would like to buy that car. Rep. Oh, I'm sorry young lad, maybe in a few years I could sell it to you. I doubt you have the funds to purchase that vehicle, it's just not possible. The three adults with him only had raised eyebrows. Issei. I currently earn 3.3 million a day, that's 188 million a year. I doubt your yearly salary makes a dent in mine. So are you going to be rude to a customer, or are we going to handle this like men and make a sale today? Rep. My apologizes sir, let me go get the paperwork for you. He quickly walked away, his ears turning red from embarrassment. Azazel. Wouldn't have done it better myself kid. Issei. But you would let that power get to your head way too quickly. Surzich's. I'm confused, you have more than that amount. Money is so inflated in the underworld it doesn't make much sense. Issei. Well, you are used to the underworld ways. I'm sure given enough time the Devil Kings could fix the currency down there, but right now us four men can buy out every major company and make the world go bankrupt. Zeodix. Interesting, I must say humans make life seem very interesting. The rep came back and had a different look on his face and was better mannered and placed the documents in front of Issei. Rep. Here you go sir, you need to sign here and here, then add your details here and here, and banking details here and here, then once we see the payment on our side the car is yours. Issei. Okay, how much is it anyways? Rep. About 2.3 million. He filled out the information and they saw the payment get approved on the screen. Issei. Not bad for my first car. Azazel. You did only just get your license too, but you passed extremely well. Rep. Alright, here are your keys and card for the car. It's wireless, so you need it in your pocket or close to the car for it to work. Same goes for the card, put it in your wallet and you can drive. Issei. Anything else? Rep. Here is your gift basket, complimentary as well. The rep handed the basket to Issei, and it was full of expensive chocolates and sweets with some savory items as well. Issei took the basket and watched them push the car away from the showroom. Issei. Cool, where are they taking it? They watched as they pushed the car away around the corner. Rep. To clean it, do a few checks and to make sure nothing is wrong with it, so we clean it and mainly check the tires. It has stood in the same spot for a few months, so we need to see for any soft spots on the tires. You may wait in our waiting room for your car. Someone will bring you some coffee and some snacks while you wait, and you may feel free to enjoy some of the items in the gift basket while you wait as well. He shrugged and looked at the 3 adults with him. Issei. Alright then. They sat down and waited and made some small talk. While talking about some issues in the underworld, Issei decided to send some pictures to Arena. At the Hideout mansion. Mickey. So, how's living with Issei in Arena and Ravel? Mickey had come from the kitchen and placed down some tea and snacks for them while they were visiting. Arena. Pretty good, no complaints. Even though I share a bed with him, he has a pillow wall between us most nights, and when not he lets me cuddle him while we sleep, and he hasn't done anything weird. I'm enjoying it. She smiled and some of the girls felt bad they missed sleeping in the same bed as him, and it's been a few months since they had a chance to experience it. Keno. If you don't mind me asking, how have the dates been with him? Arena. When it's just me and him we go to a lot of places and do things we both want to do, like on our first date he wanted to go bowling, and whoever won got to choose where we went next. Zenobia. Did you win? Arena. Yup, smiles. We went to a laser park and played laser tag, and when all 3 of us go out to hang out with Ravel, he makes sure both of us are having a good time. Ria's. Wow, he's changed a lot, visibly sad. They could see the guilt on Ria's face. She was the main reason he's not here right now, and they doubt he's coming back anytime soon. Arena. Didn't you do stuff like that when you went out on dates with him? Ria's. Blushing, I mainly pulled him into lingerie stores and made him look at me in different sets or asked which is his favorite. The Keno. The same with me. Zenobia. We never had an official one. Asia. We went out to eat at a dinner and we went to arcade. Kaneko. I've never had one. Roswis. But I thought you all dated him. It only sounds like he dated 3 of you and the rest were just around. How did that dynamic work? Ria's. I've thought about it. It was really rushed, which is probably why it didn't end so well. We didn't have time to settle with anything. Ravel. Okay, besides the hopeless romantic here and myself, who here actually knows the true Issei? Silence. Ravel. Not even you two. Mickey. Sadly, after Irina and her family left, we weren't particularly the best parents, which is why he went to all the porn, I think. Arrow. I just hope I still have some fatherly things to do with him before it's too late. Irina. He didn't say where he's going this morning, he didn't even come to school. Roswis. Now that you mention it, after he told me he's going to go and talk to Azazel about a leave of absence for the rest of the day, Azazel himself wasn't around either. Sad I had my lunch alone. Kaneko. There, it's alright, but aren't you friends with the other teachers though? Roswis. No, I'm new, and I think the female teachers don't like me very much because I'm still so young and all, and I avoid the male teachers because they are horny most times. Riaz. Fair enough actually. Buzz. Irina. Who's messaging me? She took out her phone and when she read the messages she smiled. They could all see the smile on her face and got curious. Mickey, who is it? Irina. Irina. Oh, it's Issei. Look, he got his license this morning. Smiling. She showed them the picture of him holding his license, and Azazel Surziches and Zeodix was with him smiling. They didn't see it the last time they saw him, but his canines have gotten super large and look sharp, but they all know beside Mickey and Gauro that his features are kicking in and it looks good on him too. Gauro. Sad. He got his license. I didn't even know he had his learners. Mickey. Sad, we really lost touch with him. Irina. Oh, there's more pictures. Oh my, that's a lot. Bakeno. What is it? Irina. He just sent me a picture of a dealership and said guess which one he just bought and he's going getting it. No, he just singed for it too. She showed them the pictures of the dealership and they saw him signing documents and receiving his keys. Asia. Oh, wow, I wonder what car he's going to get. I like that red one. Mickey. I think it's called a Ferrari. Ravel. That's right, I think it will be that orange Lamborghini in the front. Irina. I think that gray Volvo CX-90, he did mention a while back he wants a family car. Riaz. It's hard to pick. I'm not sure in his tastes. I need to learn more about him if I want to marry him. Irina didn't like that sentence so much. She knew he hadn't forgiven them, but the way he worded it, he let it go and moved on. He's still hardly spoken. She hoped Issei will pick her over Riaz. Mickey. Then I guess we going to have to see. It's hard to tell from the keys because there's no badge on it. Kaneko. Mother is right. Roswis. There's been a lot of change with him, his marks are improving a lot, he's ahead with his training, he's made good money, he's looking after Irina and Ravel well, he's even made time to take Irina out on dates and not falter with anything else, no one even knew he's going for the tests or even practicing driving at all. I'm impressed to say I'm impressed a lot. Loud car revs. They all looked at each other then outside. Irina. I want to say that's him. They all went outside and saw the car. All. Wow. He rolled down the window and looked out. Issei. And what do you think, smiling? He got out and the car turned off and Irina ran into his arms and gave him a quick kiss. Irina. Well done darling, congratulations on the car. Issei. Thank you my love. Oh here I'm giving this you all, I'm not in the mood for sweets really. He pulled out the basket and handed it to Irina and they were amazed by all the sweets in it. Ravel. I must say I'm impressed with everything, we didn't even know you and your license. Issei. Well, I had to do it by myself, I had a plan to save up money so I can get the car and everything to get girls, but that plan failed so I went back to it recently and did it all in the span of a month and passed with flying colors. He smiled and all of them were happy to see that smile, it's a smile they haven't seen in a while. Rias. Congrats Issei, but where are my brother and father, we saw the pictures with them. Issei. Oh, they went home already, mother and Nichan asked for them to return and Azazel left after I bought the car. Mickey. Shocked, wait who's your mother? Issei. Oh Mrs. Haidu, I'm talking about Ria's mother, when I was engaged to her, I was asked to address her as mother, same with her father, and it just stuck so I call them mother and father, and with her siblings, I got along well with them, so they are my brother and sister. Auro. Congrats Issei, well done. Issei. Thanks, I need to still do some other things, I'll see you at home alright. Irina. Okay don't be late. Issei. Never, CA. He gave her a quick kiss, then got in and started the car and it roared to life, setting off other car alarms. They watched him chuckle and speed off down the road. Rias. I'm impressed honestly, he looks good driving that car. Irina. No denying that. Bekeno. I wonder what he has planned. Ravel. I think it's training, he's been doing that a lot lately. When he was sick, he couldn't do much of anything and he complained about feeling horrible about it. Mickey. How long was he sick? Irina. I'm not sure, it kind of just started and it was really bad before he got better with the move and all, but he's okay now. Mickey. What was wrong? Rias. We found out recently too, nothing too serious, just dealing with stress. Irina made a slight nod to Rias as thanks for lying to her, they all know it's not really a topic to talk about just yet. With Issei. He arrived at the studio. He walked inside and then met the guys of the new band he's part of. Issei. Yo, GUI1. Hey man, you ready for today? Our first show is in the next month. Issei. Yay, oh do you have a bunch of tickets that I can give my friends? GUI2. Oh, yay, we get about that, we each get about 20 each, will that be enough? Issei. Smiling, more than enough. After band practice he went home to fetch Irina. Tonight was date night and Ravel went to go see her family for the evening to check up on her to see how she was fitting in, so Irina and Issei decided to make it a date night. He parked in the parking lot, then walked up to his apartment and found Irina still getting done. He greeted her and quickly got into the shower and got done. When he get dressed he opted for a black shirt with a red check shirt over it with black jeans with black boots. He left his hair wet and then went to the living room and found Irina in a long sleeve cream top with jean shorts and had her hair up in a ponytail. Issei. Let's go my love. She took his hand and smiled, then the two locked up and went to the car. He opened the door and let her get in. She sat in the passenger seat and she was amazed by the interior of the car. He got in and then started the car. Irina. Where are we going tonight? Issei. That my love is a surprise. They drove and Issei drove fast. He heard her laughing with excitement, then he used his magic and teleported the car. There was a small flash and then they were in a different area. Irina. Darling, where are we? Issei. Yukon, Canada. Irina. Why are we here? Issei. You'll see, trust me. She nodded and smiled as they took a slow drive. She looked outside and saw that it's snowing. Irina. Darling, I don't think me going outside is a good idea, I'll freeze. Issei. So, you don't want to sit in my lap with my arms wrapped around you keeping you warm? Irina. Blushing, no, I want that, I'll rather take that. Issei. Chuckling, then stop worrying and enjoy the ride. They drove for a few more minutes and they arrived at an empty hillside. He turned off the car and then made motion for them to both get out. Once out the freezing breeze hit Irina and she hugged herself. Issei. Here we are, I knew these would come in handy. She looked at him and he held two large fluffy jackets. He came to her and put the jacket on her, then sat her down on his lap and she snuggled into his warmth. Irina. You still haven't told me why we are here. Issei. Chuckles, alright my love, you mentioned how cool the northern lights are and after doing some research I found during these next few months, seeing the northern light will be very active here, so I brought you to see them like you wanted. Irina. You're a perfect boyfriend, you'll make an even better husband, you know that. Issei. baby steps that will happen one day soon. I was honestly thinking maybe after we graduate or maybe a bit afterwards, but I would like to see closer to the time, after what we went through a while ago. I don't want to waste a second. I want to marry you, but there are other things we need to get through first. Irina. You're right, Issei. I can get you a promise ring if you want. Irina. No, I don't need one. I know you will propose within the given time, and I'm not like some girls that take the specialness out of being proposed to when all they talk about is wedding rings, and all I know it's going to happen, so I don't mind waiting. Issei tightened his grip around her and rested his face behind her neck. Issei. I love you so much. Irina. I love you too. They shared a kiss, and, in the background, the northern lights started and illuminating the area around them. They pulled apart and watched the lights. Irina. Wow. Issei. Amazing. They watched the lights feeling nothing but love for each other. Once the lights finished they got back into the car and went home. Nothing was said between them. They sat perfectly happy with how tonight went and they listened to music. Irina started to fall asleep and he noticed once they got home. He carefully took her out the car and took her to their room. He placed her on the bed sitting up and she noticed where she was and got changed. Issei went to go and check to so if Ravel was home or not. He slowly creaked the door open and saw her sleeping soundly. He then closed her door and locked up the place and then went to bed himself as he got changed, and then as he laid down Irina snuggled up next to him. He brought her clothes and closed his eyes happy with how things were going for him for the past few days and hoped it would stay that way. Encore. It's finally the day of the concert. Issei is excited. He couldn't stop smiling the whole night and now as he wakes up, he takes out the tickets and puts one by both Ravel and Irina's phones and then leaves to go get ready for the show. On his way to the studio he stopped at his old house and just put the tickets in the mailbox and left again and sent the rest to some of his friends with a note telling them to come. On arrival at the studio, he met up with the guys. They started to tune up and practice. With Irina, she tried to find Issei in her sleep by feeling around the bed. She opened her eyes and saw that he was gone. She then stretched and sat up in the bed and looked at her phone and saw the ticket next to her phone. She thought she was dreaming, but after rubbing her eyes, she squealed in excitement which woke up Ravel and she came quickly to see what was the problem. Ravel worried, "Are you okay?" Irina. Happy, look what was next to my phone this morning. She showed the ticket and Ravel looked even more shocked to see who it was for. Ravel. Did I get you this? Irina. Happy, it could only be him. Ravel went to her room to see if there was one for her as well, and Irina heard more squealing coming from the other room. She came running back to Irina with a ticket in hand, and they hugged each other with excitement. Happy, they got tickets. Ravel. Happy, we need to go get ready, it starts in a few hours. Irina. I'm with you, let's go. They both went to go get done and freshen up to get ready for the fun night that was upon them. Ravel started doing her hair along with Irina. Ravel did her signature twin tails, and Irina tied her up into a single ponytail. She wore black jegging pants with sneakers and a white strap top, Ravel in a similar fashion with a skirt with a strap top. They had fun getting ready. They did receive a message from Issei to tell them to be there a bit early due to foot traffic, and he will meet them there, so they did just that. They left in a hurry and locked up the house, eager to go to the concert, with Riaz and the others sitting in the living room. Riaz. It's been a slow day, hasn't it? Keno. Yes, it has been, but nothing has come up or invites, so it's just us and we have done our task for today fairly quickly, so there is that as well. Mickey. You get days like this when you two into a routine. How about we order takeout tonight and mix things up a bit? Zenobia. That sounds nice, I'm thinking of sushi. Kaneko. Sounds good to me. Auro. We can watch the concert that's happening at the stadium tonight. Riaz. Oh, yay, we have been so busy with things that we didn't even have time to buy some tickets. Mickey. Well, there's always next time. Why don't you invite some friends for dinner, our treat? Riaz. Sure, I'll call them over. She messaged Sona telling her that she'd been invited for dinner and she could bring her peerage for dinner. Sona responded and told her that they had other plans for the evening, but still said thank you for the invite. Asia messaged Kiba since the rating game. He's been very depressed because he feels he hurt his best friend and each of them have been taking turns to check up on him and he's been fine. He said that he's going to come over. Zenobia messaged Irina to see if she's willing to come over, but she didn't reply yet. Zenobia. I messaged Irina to see if she with Issei and Ravel would mind coming over. Riaz. That would be nice, it's been a few days since we last saw them. Nikki, Asia and Kaneko went to go and get the sushi. Riaz gave some extra money to Kaneko to pay for some of it. She wasn't going to burden Mickey with paying so much. After a while, they waited for them to come back and Kiba and Gasper arrived and he looked better for worse. He looked as if he hadn't been sleeping or keeping up with exercise anymore. He let himself go. Kiba. Thanks for having me, smiles. Gasper. Hello everyone. Auro. You alright kid, you look like a mess. Kiba. It's just been that type of time, don't worry about it Mr. Haidu. Riaz. You're one of us and we can enjoy the music we can see on TV. Kiba. Tickets would have been nice, but what are you going to do? They have been sold out for a while. Keno. I'm sure we can go to the next one if there is. Asper. Why, yay, that would be cool. After a few minutes of small talk, Mickey and the others came back with the food and they all helped set up for dinner in front of the TV. Mickey. Well, Diggin smiles. They all slowly ate some sushi from the sushi on the table and turned on the TV to allow them to watch the concert. On the TV. Voice. Welcome to Japan National Stadium, where we have our special guest Fall Out Boy, Yuta, and many more performing tonight. The camera panned around and front and center was a masked person singing and playing instruments, playing music. They were really good. Everyone loved the man singing for all of them. The current song playing. Kaneko. The guy playing has a nice voice. Rias. You said it. Mickey. If I remember correctly, Issei likes Fall Out Boy. I remember seeing a few CDs in his room when I was cleaning it once. The girls that plan on getting to know him better but also want to do it right, so knowing some of the music he likes would be very helpful. Kiba. Hey, is that Arena and Ravel with everyone else? Kaneko. Confused. What? Kiba. Look, they moving over the VIP section. Look. They looked at the TV and saw Arena, Ravel, Sona, Tsubaki, Saji, Momo, Tome, Azazel, Surziches, Grafie and Milikas all talking with some other people who were with them in the booth. Rias. Confused. How is that right? They watched as the person singing bowed and left the stage and then it went dark. Announcer. Please put your hands together and welcome Fall Out Boy. The lights and all the cameras all went to the stage and one of the original members, Pete, walked onto the stage and the crowd cheered for him as he walked up to the microphone. Pete. Hello everyone, before we rock the night away I want to make an announcement. Little over 3 months ago we lost Patrick. He had some troubles and he was killed here in Japan. I'll keep it brief. We considered breaking up the band and even cancelling our spot and role in this concert, but I still call it a gift from God. We met an amazing kid. He had the skills and talent to fill in for our lost member, and in the past few months he has become one of our new members. Officially tonight is his debut. Please, I would like to introduce my new best friends and little brother Issei. Please give him a round of applause. They saw the masked man walk back onto the stage and take his mask off, showing off who he was and what he looked like. Others were shocked and most were cheering for him, realizing he could sing so nicely. Pete. The stage is all your, man. Show them how you kill it. Issei. You got it. The others went to their instruments and the lights adjusted as they got ready. In the stands. Issei's group. Shock. No way. Back at the house. The house was silent. Confusion and excitement ran wild. Issei. Let's do this. Music start. Issei is singing and playing the guitar. The crowd went wild as the song went off. They were impressed with his vocal range and they loved each second of his voice. For Arena, she loved every second of this. She saw her boyfriend having fun and singing like he used to again, and she loved the song. It was similar for Ravel. She enjoyed this more than she even showed. For the others present, they were shocked he can even sing. Saji. Let's go. Back at the house, they were in complete shock, some of them even singing along. Song end. Issei. How was that? The crowd cheered for him again and he gave them a bright smile. Issei. Woo, it's hot up here. For our next song, The Phoenix. Ravel grew a smile knowing why he picked the song. The crowd cheered as they started singing. The crowd enjoyed the song and even sang along with him. Arena and Ravel could swear they were the loudest, screaming his name. Even Azazel and Surziches and surprisingly Grafia were screaming his name with them. Sona and Tsubaki were also cheering his name along with the others. Back home, others were singing along with him, happy to hear him sing again and happy to see him have fun. When they finished catching their breaths, Issei smiled at the crowd. Little did he know this was the start of his fan club. Issei. Right, as much as I'm having fun up here, here is one last song that the guys wanted to play again, and we have her here with us. Everybody, here we go, Immortals. The crowd and Issei started singing. Music start. Issei started singing. The crowd loved it. They started singing along again. During the song, Issei was killing it as he sang. With the lights and strings, they made him look like Hess flying around with Big Hero 6 clips everywhere. When the song finished, he bowed and they cheered for him. Issei. That's it from me for now. Please enjoy my new friend Yuta. The crowd went wild as Yuta walked onto stage. None of the guys left the stage. Yuta. Welcome everybody. Music start. Issei playing the guitar with the rest of the guys playing instruments. The crowd loved to hear the new song. They were even stunned by the visual effects going off around them. It made them feel like they were in a magic world. Everyone was enjoying the music, even dancing along. Issei was dancing in sync behind her. She didn't even see it, and the crowd loved it. When they finished, the crowd cheered again. Yuta. Alright, everyone still having fun. Crowd. YESSSS. Yuta. Then you going to love this one, Issei. Issei started on the guitar. Music start. Yuta came next to Issei while he was playing and pulled him forward with her, and the two of them had fun next to each other while they performed. While playing, Issei was lip-syncing her while she sang and played, and she was getting deeper into the music. When the song was done, Yuta bowed and jumped onto Issei's back, and they could hear them talking while they caught their breaths. Yuta. Hey Issei, why not play a few other songs? I'm sure they would love it. Issei. I mean, I would, but then won't we taking away from the others that still need to perform? Yuta. Oh, didn't they tell you? They cancelled when they heard it's a new album drop for me, so that last section I'm giving to you. Issei. No way. Alright, I'm game then. She got off her back and he stood forward. Issei. Alright, here's a new one I came up with a few days ago. It was fast to come together, but I know the guys already practiced the song without me knowing, so here we go. The crowd loved the song and wanted more from him. They loved his voice and his style of music too. Issei. Alright, how's this one? Many of people felt motivated after hearing the song, and they loved it. Issei. Alright, he'll do one last one, hope you enjoy. As they played his last song, Issei made a huge name for himself. They crowd loved it, he bowed to all of them and left the stage for the night. Back at the house, everyone was utterly shocked. They didn't expect this from him, and he blew them all away with his skills. Riaz. Let's go and congratulate him tomorrow. Mickey. I like that idea. Back at the stadium, Irina, Ravel, Gracie and Milikas are busy hugging him, while the others are standing there impressed with what Hess done. Yuta. Looks like you have some interesting girlfriends here, Issei. He looked at her and she had a smug look on her face, and he just didn't look impressed. Issei. Wrong, Irina here is my girlfriend. Ravel is a super close friend of mine, the rest are either family or close friends. Both. Shut up, you're ruining the moment. Issei. Fine. After the hug and saying thanks to everyone, they then left and drove home. As the drive started, both Irina and Ravel passed out and fell asleep. Issei smiled and then drove calmly back home. He took the girls and brought them back to their rooms. He contemplated changing them, but decided not to. He first brought in Ravel, then set her on her bed, and to his surprise, in her sleep, she started stripping to her underwear. He quickly booked it out of her room. He didn't know how far she was going to go. He brought Irina in, and she changed into her pajamas and then got into the bed. Issei made sure his car is locked and then locked up the house and then got into bed. Irina cuddled up next to him. Before he slept, he looked at his phone and saw loads of messages from people he didn't know and some people in his class. He saw the messages from Riaz and Akeno, saying they loved his performance. He then saw one from Saji, calling him Harem King, because Yuta hugged him. He chuckled bit, then put his phone down and then turned to Irina and brought her into his grasp and held her tight and kissed her forehead. The next morning he found himself awake surprisingly early. Greg. Well done, partner, I enjoyed last night. Issei. No problem, man, but I have another thing I want to get done, but I'm not sure when should I do it. Greg. Your life force. Issei. Yay, I want to get it fixed or restored, if you get what I mean, but I was thinking about something else. Greg. And what is that? Issei. The possibility of a harem again. I've weighed my options, and I'm not going to deny it, it's highly likely to happen again, but I can put my foot down and say no. On the other hand, things will eventually lead to it being brought up again. Greg. I'm not sure, why not talk to your partner about it, maybe she's also thought about it herself but in a different light. Issei. Then I'll have to see, let me ask her. He tapped Irina gently and she squinted at him. Irina. Morning, darling, something wrong? Issei. I want to know your thoughts on something important. Irina fully sat up and stretched and looked at him. Irina. What's wrong, my love? Issei. You see, the thoughts of me having a harem again came up and I want to know your honest thoughts on it. She looked sad while she thought about it. He could see it wasn't something she was particularly fond of, but understood where he was coming from. Irina. Look, I don't really like the idea of the harem thing again because I don't want you hurt again, but also I know it's selfish, but I don't want to be left behind again. The first time around I never got to even enjoy my time with you, it was always a fight and I was always left out whether I wanted to or not. Issei. I see, look, I don't want to hurt you, it's the last thing I want to do, but the thought of it came up and I wanted to know if you're against it or not. I'm currently happy with the way things are, but if it even had to happen or something, I want to know if you're okay with it because I want to make this decision with you. Irina. I'm not entirely against it if it is healthier and fair to all in the relationship, like no one gets left out sort of thing, but I also do personally think it is too soon to start another one. Issei. My thoughts exactly, and I think if I did have another one, then all of you would get the same treatment and equal time. The first time around was powered by lust, and I'm not putting either of you in that situation if it does happen. I just wanted to know where you stand with it, plus you'd have to be crazy to think I'm going to ignore my guardian angle. Irina. Shock, you remembered. Issei. How could I forget? He kissed her forehead and brought her into a hug, and she hugged him back. Issei. It's cool today, I want to talk to Roswisser Azazel about getting my life force fixed. I don't need that, caught me off guard. And I think it's why I asked about the more partners thing. Kaneko said bedroom arts would be most effective, and if I go to Yasaka, she's probably going to suggest it. Even if I go to Kuroka, it's going to be the same deal, and I don't know if a relationship will come from it or not. Irina. I understand. Then I suppose if something does happen with Yasaka, then by all means, but think about it first. I believe you and I don't want a repeat of last time. Issei. Oh, of course I wouldn't make the same mistakes twice. I might turn evil instead of dying, but thanks, I really needed to know that you okay with it if I do end up having more partners. Ernina. She snuggled into his chest and smiled. She looked back at him and he gave her a deep kiss filled with love. Issei. Today is going to be a long one, isn't it? Irina. For sure. Ravel, other side of the door, you guys awake yet? Issei. We will be there in a bit Ravel. They spent another 2 minutes in each other's embrace, then got out of bed and got ready for school. At the Haidu mansion, they all sat in the dining room while Mickey was making food in the kitchen and Garo went outside to get the mail. Riaz. I wonder if Issei is coming to school or not. Broswis. He better, we have a test today. Asia. How was your grandmother? Broswis. Oh, she was still on my case about getting a boyfriend and teasing me about it, but still happy to see me smiles. Akeno. I'm sure the time will come, so besides Issei having a test, anyone got anything else interesting happening this week? Kaneko. No. Riaz. Well, it's not really interesting, but Sona did catch Saji trying to play an instrument this morning. Zenobia. I read that dragons are very competitive and try and be better than the rest, so maybe Issei being good at music is pushing him to try new things. Riaz. Please tell me the name of the book you read. I'd like to know more about the dragons myself. Akeno. I'll agree with that. Garo. Sad morning family. They watched him walk back in, and they could see the sadness on his face, like he was even more guilty about something. All morning. Brace. Father, something the matter. Garo. I found these in the mailbox this morning. He placed the tickets on the table, and all looked at them. Riaz. And I thought today was going to be a good one. How did none of us find it yesterday? Akeno. Well, none of us really left the house yesterday, so we couldn't have known. Asia. Hopefully he's not upset. Broswis. Well, then we going to have to wait and see then. They arrived at school and walked in feeling okay about today, then they heard a car rev loudly behind them as they walked in. They saw Issei's car and watched it go to parking. The students all ran to see who it was, then Issei Ravel and Arena got out of it. They took their bags and then he locked it and walked towards his class. They started following him as he sat down. He looked around and saw everyone looking at him. Issei. What, got something in my teeth? Akia. No, how, why, when, all of this. Issei. Why do you think I wasn't around for most of last week? That's when I got my license and car, and about a few months before I met the band, and then they offered me to temporary step in for them, and then made me a member. Hadis. Irina, did you know about any of this? Irina. Nope, it was just as much as a surprise for me. I did know about the car and license, but the music part, not a clue. Mayamarma. Blushing Issei, can I get a picture, please? Issei. No one in this class besides Irina gets anything from me, and I don't plan on changing that. His class felt bad that he still didn't like them, but they knew he has the right to feel this way. Motohama. What about your good old buddies? Issei. No, the two of you aren't my friends. Mitsuda. Ah, come on man, sure we friends. Issei. Then when is my birthday? Angle, don't say it. Silence. Issei. What's my favorite food? No one said anything. Motohama. Hussy. Issei. I rest my case. Everyone was surprised. One would think that someone knows when his birthday was, but they don't. Zenobia. Your favorite food is fried chicken, preferably hot chicken or any spicy foods. Issei. At least someone was right. Zenobia smiled and shed a few tears, happy she got something right with him. Issei. Now go sit down, Roswa-sensei is here. She walked in and the others all walked back, some of the students feeling bad about how they treated him in the past, mainly the girls. It started flashing in their minds that the other two dragged him around a lot, and on a few occasions he just happens to be there, and they beat him for it. Mayamura felt bad about it. She actually liked him peeping on them, made her think that he was looking at her. But now he's moved on, and she pushed him far away enough to make him not even want to look at her. For the rest of the class they see Issei for his actual likes, and now he's actually looking after himself and doing better entirely. They wouldn't even think that he was perverted. Roswis. Issei, congratulations about last night. I didn't see it, but I saw a few clips of it. Issei. Thank you sensei. Roswis. Right class, here are your tests, take one and pass it back. They did just that, and once she started the test she watched Issei. Roswis. He's amazing, he's taking care of himself and still looking after Irina and Ravel, and to top it off she's never seen him and the two looking so happy before. He's become the ideal man in everything, not even in just fighting, but he made time for everything and made sure to do it right, and even now he has a perfect relationship with Irina, and the both of them haven't been more happy. I wonder. During lunch break he went to the orc club room to get away from his fan base. He also wanted to see if they had something to say to him. He knew they didn't find the tickets, and now they might feel bad. He entered the room and they dropped their teacups and looked at him with shocked faces. Issei. You just wasted tea. Riaz. Issei, sorry we couldn't. He spoke over her and she kept quiet when he spoke. Issei. Figured you didn't see the tickets till this morning. Akeno. Sad yay. Issei. No worries, there's always going to be more. They looked at him confused. Asia. What do you mean? Issei. I'm going to be performing at more concerts in the future. Do you think I'm only going to do that once? They ran to him and hugged him. They took in his touch the best they could before they let him sit down. Issei. Well, I decided to have lunch here. Ravel and Irina are bringing the food. Now they told me to go ahead, so I'm here. Plus the fan base is worse than Kiba's. Kiba. What do you mean worse than mine? He pulled out a handful of crumpled up papers. Issei. Roughly 110 numbers from the same girls that hated my guts a few months ago. He snapped his fingers and a small spark left them and set them alight. He sat down, and they just watched the numbers burn into nothingness, but what surprised them was that it didn't burn the table. They all sat down and got comfy. Riaz. So how was it meeting Yuta last night? He looked up at her and for once in a while he finally looked at her, and she didn't feel anger or hatred coming from him. Issei. Well, I have spent a few days with her already for practice and to sing along. He played a video where he and Yuta and having a high-pitched race, and he nearly won. Issei. Yeah, I lost my voice after that. She's a darling to hang out with, honestly. Zenobia. That's cool. Do you have any other signs in progress? I like Somewhere I Belong. Issei. Yeah, that was a hard one to sing and still play at the same time, but I got it right. Tiba. Nice going, man, I'm impressed. Issei, thanks. You see, Saji started playing instruments to try and catch up to me. Riaz. Giggles, I told them this morning. Issei. Did you see the video Momo took? Kaneko. Curious, there's a video. Issei. Yeah, check it out. He showed them the video and he was horrible, off key and off tune, but he was still trying. The video ended when turned around and Momo burst out laughing. Issei. I had the easy part down. I could always play and sing, just didn't do it much. Arena. Walking in, which is why I'm happy you started again. Ravel. Yeah, what she said, I'm even enjoying the singing around the house. Akeno. How often does he sing? Arena. All the time. She put down her bento and handed Issei his. Issei. Do not. Ravel. Dude, you were singing this morning while you were eating. Issei. Fine, my brain is finishing off songs that I kind of started as a kid but never finished. That's what the three I sang last night were. They were surprised that those songs came from younger him. Zenobia. Hey Issei, was I really right this morning? They all looked at her, all of them confused, but Asia, Issei and Arena. Issei. Yes, you were. She had a small smile on her face, happy she was truly right. Asia. So what are you going to do now, Issei? Issei. Get my life force back. I'm going to see if I can go to Osaka. If not, then I'll have to settle for Kuroka to try and help me. I need that experience in sage arts to try and recover it at a faster rate. After recent events, I can't be caught off guard by having my life force run out at the worst time and die when I'm needed, so I need to have it sorted ASAP. Kaneko. Please try and push for Osaka. I don't need my sister trying to manipulate you or anything. Issei. Don't stress about it, it is not set in stone yet. Kaneko felt bad that he didn't want to come to her for help, but he wanted the more experienced, so the process could be sped up. She understands that, but doesn't like the thought of Kuroka being involved. Riaz. If I remember correctly, bedroom arts are the most effective. Issei. I know I had to talk to Arena about it to see if she's okay with it if it does happen to go down that route. Arena. I'm fine with it, but he knows the one rule I gave me. Issei. And, I'll never break it. Ravel. #whipped. They all burst out laughing at him and enjoyed the rest of the lunch break. After that they went back to class. Issei went to Azazel's office and told him what he wanted to do and wanted time off for about a week or so. Azazel gave him permission, but requested that Roswis goes with him to update him on the situation, and he agreed. Later that day Issei picked up Roswis and sped down the road with Roswis in the passenger seat. Roswis. Panicked, I slow down, please. Issei. Sure. He slowed down the car and they drove through the night to get to Kyoto, land of the Yokai. I'm on holiday, really. It's the early hours of the next morning. Roswis could be seen sleeping in the passenger side of the car. While Issei was driving to Kyoto, Roswis asked him to drive slowly, and by the speed limit he obliged and drove nicely to make her feel more comfortable. Issei. Hey Dreg. Yes partner, what can I do for you? Issei. I want your honest opinion on something that's been nagging me at the back of my head. Dreg. If it relates to your feelings towards your parents, then what of it? Issei. Did I do the right thing leaving the family like I did? I've thought about it. Sure, maybe I overreacted, but in all fairness, they did start it first in terms of emotionally neglecting me. Dreg. I'm not sure how to relate. I never had parents. I was an energy that was manifested by something, and I've lived on since. It's like that for all dragons. If Vritra had his memories, would tell you the same thing, Albion included. We know not of our origins, but we have been alive for millennia and will forever be alive till we vanish from existence. Issei. Well, that was interesting, but I didn't need so much as a relation, but my actions, do you think I was right or wrong? Dreg. Neither right nor wrong. Issei. He stopped the car on the side of the road and just got out of the car. Roswa slowly opened her eyes and saw they had stopped and looked to see that Issei isn't in the car anymore and that he's looking over the edge of the barrier of the road. She got out the car and walked to him. Roswas. Something wrong? Issei. Sorry if I woke you up, I'm just trying to figure out something. She came closer and saw that they could see the city lights below them, and since they were so high up it looked so small. Roswas. Amazed. Whoa. Issei. It's nice. Hey. Roswas. I've never seen it like this before. Last time we took a bullet train I would have loved to see this. Issei. Me and you both. Roswas. So what's on your mind? I may not be all-knowing, but I could help, you never know. Issei. Don't worry about it, it's alright, we are about 4 hours out from getting to Osaka, let's get going. Roswas. concerned sure but first. She took out her phone and took a few photos with Issei and sent it to the group with all of them. The one that stood out the most to him was the one where she pulled him close to her and they looked like a couple. He's never seen her smile like that before. Once she was done they got back into the car and took off again driving down the road. Ross was put on the radio and to their surprise, one of Issei's songs was playing. He had made it to the most played song in the past week. Issei. To think the walls did that well. Ross was. Hey, do you have any other songs no one has heard of? Issei. Don't tell Riaz or Arena, it's a song I'm still conflicted on. Ross was. I promise. He took his phone and quickly made sure that the road was alright and slowed down enough and then took his phone and played the beat and started singing. When he was done Rosswas just looked at him with complete shock. Rosswas. Wow, I'm speechless, but it's not for just Riaz is it? Issei just shook his head indicating she was right. Rosswas. You still feel bad about it? He nodded and took a deep breath. Rosswas. Well, I know I'm not one to talk, but with everything that happened I see it as a good thing in the end. Think about it, my ideal thought about even being a relationship is knowing each other to the point I would be able to see that they upset or have troubles, which they didn't see and only realized till it was too late, and then that's when everything really broke down. Issei. I guess you're right. Rosswas. And the same goes for your parents. I'm not entirely sure, but even with your parents, I was reading a book to finish my degree in teaching, so I can actually be qualified and not have the fake that Azazel made for me. But while I was studying I came across a section called emotional detachment in parents. It's when they slowly stop showing signs of affection and it affects the child's mind to the point where they just want to leave the house entirely and cut them off from their life. Tendencies shows, unsure about certain topics such as love, friends, life choices, or just keeping relationships in general. Even showing affection will feel difficult in some types and towards parents it's very similar because you don't even want to talk to them. I can see you have a few problems surrounding the matter. Issei. Rosswas. Sorry if I upset you. Issei. You didn't, it's just you described a lot of what's going on. Rosswas. Oh, I see, would you like me to change topics or? Issei. I'm not sure, it's a lot to think about because I felt like it was just me or something wasn't feeling right. Rosswas. I suppose I should say that in most cases they found that people can't commit to a relationship, but yet you and Arena have been perfect, almost like you would have been cut off if she didn't step up like she did. Issei. I suppose you're right, I would have just left and never come back. It was a serious thought I had, but she keeps me grounded and keeps thoughts from affecting me. Rosswas. Which is good because you need someone who will be by your side no matter the change. Issei. Lucky me then, huh? Rosswas. It's perfectly normal in human behavior, and him thinking of her being with you day in and day out was a good thing, because if she wasn't that good of an influence, then we wouldn't be talking about it now. Issei. Rosswas. It's still good to have talks with people, it helps get over the trauma. Issei. The question now is, do I let them back in or keep it as it is? Rosswas falling asleep. It's your choice, not mine. Follow your heart and hope for the best. She fell asleep and was lightly snoring. Issei smiled at her. Sleeping in someone's car is the ultimate form of trust. He's seen Ravel and Arena sleep in the car, but now Rosswas, it was a good feeling. Greg. Perhaps the Valkyrie shed the light you were looking for. Issei. She kind of did, but I'm still not sure. Greg. See, after the treatment it's meant to be enriching, so you might be able to have a clear mind. Issei. Then we will have to see as we move. They drove for another hour and Issei saw a restaurant and stopped to get some breakfast. As he got out of the car he saw his breath. Issei. Looks like winter is going to be a cold one. He walks inside and sees the menu. Issei. I'll take 2 of those please with some orange juice, please. Cashier. It will be ready in a few. Issei smiling. Issei smirked, then just stood by the till and turned around. It was empty, but his focus was on Rosswas in his car alone. He may not look like it, but he was watching her like a hawk. He wasn't going to let her feel like she's in danger while they are here. While he was watching the car the waiter came and gave him the food to go, and then he went to the car to wake up Rosswas. He gently woke her up and saw he had food for them. She then saw the coat he had on and put on hers. As she got out the car she felt the cold breeze rush her body. Rosswas shivering. What a way to wake up for the day. Issei. It's not too bad honestly. Rosswas. Says the fire dragon. Issei. Any other day I would have said not, but I am now. Still not used to it yet. Rosswas. I thought as much. Issei. Anyway, come sit, the food's still hot. Rosswas. Oh, what did you get us? Issei. Some egg omelette and bacon bites with fruit juice. Rosswas. Alright, how much do I owe you? Issei. Free of charge, my treat. Rosswas. If you insist. They sat down to eat and it was nice, not as good as the home-cooked meal, but a nice meal regardless. Rosswas decided to take another picture as an update to the group. They didn't see the last one, but she sent a picture of the breakfast with Issei taking a bite and sent it. Issei. Sending pictures to update them on things. Rosswas. Yes, I feel just sending a message wouldn't do much justice in the end, so doing it like this will show that you're still in good spirits. Issei. I see. Rosswas. Hey, you know the cashiers in the restaurant behind you are taking photos of us, right? Issei. Deep breath, let them, I don't care right now. Roswis. If you say so. Issei. Hey, thanks for earlier. Roswis. What do you mean? Issei. I wasn't in the right state of mind and you helped validate my feelings, but I think I'll have a talk with them when we get back and give them a chance again, but I'll see how I feel after the treatment because it's meant to be an enriching thing, so I should be able to make the choice then. Roswis. Glad to be of help. Issei. You ready to go? Roswis. Let me see. Let me go to the bathroom first, I'm sure we going straight there and no stops. Issei. More or less. Roswis. He'll be right back. She walked into the restaurant and the staff came up to her. Girl. Excited. Hey, is he your boyfriend? Roswis. No, we just super close friends, please excuse me. She quickly left before a blush appeared on her face and they caught her out. The girl smiled and posted the pictures to the internet and they were gaining traction. But Issei outside. Greg. Those bacon bites look nice. Issei. I've been wondering something, can you actually eat or are you satisfied with what I eat? Greg. I'm touched, the first human to offer me food, but to be fairly honest, I wouldn't know in the slightest if I can eat or not, it has never been tried. Issei. Well, how about we mess around and see if we can get you some food. Greg. It's worth a shot, I'm willing to try it out. Issei. Might as well go to the bathroom as well just to be sure. After going to the bathroom, both Roswis and Issei got into the car and drove off again. It was around 6 AM and I planned to be there by 8, so Issei put on music and was singing and Roswis joined in as well. They sang the whole way there. Once they reached the temple, Issei drove up slowly. He knew no human would ever find this place and then he got out with Roswis, who clung to him for warmth, walked to the door and knocked. After a few moments, they slowly opened. Tired? Who is it? Issei. Hi princess, how are you this morning? Smiles. Her eyes grew large and then she shut the door and ran to her room to look presentable. Roswis and Issei looked at each other and started giggling at the princess's actions. With all the commotion, Yasaka was woken up and she let them in and tea brought for them. Kunu slowly came back blushing. Kunu. Sorry for my actions, it wasn't my intention to be rude. Yasaka, good to see that you were rude. Kunu. Embarrassed. I'm sorry. Issei. Don't sweat the small stuff now, come give me a hug, I know you want to. She was shocked and then her tails went on end and she ran to him and gave him a hug and snuggled into his chest. Yasaka. So as much as I'm delighted to see you again, Issei, what brings you here? Issei. You see Yasaka, before we met I used a power I had no control over and used up most of my life force. I had a near-death experience and I was ready to die that day, but didn't. But now that I'm back to peak health again, almost, I would like to regain my life force. I know it's a lot to ask, but it was either you or another sage user that I know would take advantage of the situation, which could end up with me being hurt more, so I please ask for your assistance. Yasaka. Kunu, please go and prepare for your lessons later, I need to discuss something with Red Dragon Emperor as adults. Kunu. Sad yes mother. She looked upset that she had to be sent away. Issei. Hey, I have a car now, we can go get ice cream later, okay? She smiled and nodded and ran off. Roswis. When was he so good with kids? Yasaka. I am more than willing to assist you with this, I'm sure you are already aware of the process. Issei. I do, is there another method that we could use first? Out of respect for you I want to try another way first. Yasaka. Well, bedroom arts are the most effective picture of being intimate with entwining our souls together to fix yours. Other methods are better to be explained as just touching or holding the soul, and that's the type of limitation that won't make the others as effective as you want them to be. Issei. Deep breath, I'm okay with it if you are. Yasaka. The only thing that I wish to ask is to be gentle, it would be my first time since conceiving Kunu. Issei choked on his spit and started blushing heavily. Roswis wasn't feeling any better. Roswis. I think that's my cue to leave you guys to do your things. Issei. I guess so, you can get your bags from the car, it's unlocked, I'll see you later. He placed the keys in her hands and she left quickly. Yasaka. Chuckling him, so I was right, she likes you. Issei. Really? If anything, we are good friends. Yasaka. Think about it, you had so many girls that are with you, why wouldn't she be any less? Is she not to your liking? Issei. No, it's not that, it's just I'm going through a lot right now and it doesn't help me much. Yasaka. What happened? Issei told her everything about what happened and how he nearly died, and it was because of his loved ones. He told Yasaka about talking to Irina and how she's not against the harem thing, but wants him to fully think about everything before just having more partners, and then I get hurt again. Yasaka. Well, before we get started, how about we have a meditation course first? It's best if you start stripping. Issei light blush right. She slowly took off her kimono and Issei could see her beautiful figure in all its glory. She was stunning, but seeing this part of her beauty made him get hard for the first time in a long while. She slowly walked over to him, she saw his member and smiled at him. Yasaka. First off, I want you to relax your mind. I know what's happening now, but first clear your mind. He sat and closed his eyes and then he could feel her moving her hands around his body, all the scars and damage that it has been through. Yasaka. Listen to my voice, make it the only thing that you focus on. Issei did as he was told and she could feel him becoming more relaxed as they went on. Yasaka. Good, now breathe in and breathe out. She sat behind him and he could feel her breast pushing against his back, sending a warm rush through his body. What Yusaka is actually doing is healing his body. As a sage user, she can see the cracks that break the body that others can't, so using sage magic on his body, he starts to relax and feel better and not feel uncomfortable in any which way or form. Yusaka, you can open your eyes now, Issei. He slowly opened his eyes and saw her face looking at him. Yusaka, I healed your body further. Most beings of power cannot see the cracks on one's body that cause them to break. She touched his shoulder blade. Yusaka, how does that feel? Not like it's going to snap if you push it too much, does it? Issei, surprised, no it doesn't, it feels good again. Yusaka, good. She slowly came to him and kissed his cheek. Yusaka, your body knows what to do, just follow the flow and it will all be alright. He came in for a kiss on the lips and they fell back onto the ground in each other's embrace. Outside, Roswis, blushing, whoa, it's getting hot again. She walked to the car, took their bags and saw the children playing. My child, don't forget about love, it's something that completes our souls and gives us a purpose to live another day. If you find it, treasure it. Roswis, Granny, don't talk about stuff like that. I'll stop when you bring me a great-grandchild. Roswis broke into blush and realized that she was still standing by the car, then took their bags out and took them to their room. As she walked in, she noticed something. Roswis, blushing, why is there one bed? Buzz buzz. She looked at her phone and saw it was a video call. Riaz, hello Roswis, how are you today? We saw the pictures. Irina, how is Kyoto? From the photos looks cold. Roswis, oh, you said I took one of Issei's jackets from the car because mine wasn't enough, and when we stopped for breakfast, he forget he's a fire dragon and said it's not as cold while I'm freezing my butt off. They all started giggling. Akeno, what does your room look like? Roswis, well, we just got here a few minutes ago and well, Issei and Yusaka are already doing their thing, so I brought the bags to the car and the room she gave us has only one big bed. She showed off the room. Irina, well, it's not too bad. Issei does sleep with a wall between us most nights, so he might do that if you don't have a problem with sharing a bed. Roswis, not particularly, but it's a first for me, so I'm not sure if I should do anything first. Ravel, I wouldn't stress about it honestly. Zenobia, so what do you have planned for today, or are you going to spend it in bed staying warm? Roswis, I saw a few adverts about some sales on clothes, so I might check it out sooner or later, but for now I think I'm going to get some tea and maybe a muffin and freshen up a bit. Asia, well, you are there for a week or two, so don't rush anything. Kaneko, I'm just thinking Issei is busy right now, why not just take a walk around and see if there is anything of interest you would like to do, like a restaurant or park. Roswis, not a bad idea. Oh, let me know if you see pictures of Issei and me on the internet. When we sat down for some breakfast, some girls were taking photos of us two together. Ravel, what? Oh hell no, I don't need pictures of him on the internet, it's bad for business. She left the call and the girls giggled. Irina, she is busy looking around for them, but let us know what happens, okay? Roswis, of course, smiling. They put down and Roswis went to freshen up in the bathroom with Irina. She was sitting looking sad. Ravel, everything alright? Irina, I know that I can't right now, but I wish I had his first time. Ravel spat out her tea and looked shocked. Ravel, you're upset about that. Irina, I'm sorry, but it would have happened sooner or later and we both know it. You would have been the last to have sex with him and he still wouldn't do it because he would hate himself if you become a fallen angel. It was something you worked hard for and he will feel like he took away everything from you. Irina, I know it's just still I want to marry him, but it's still a feeling I'm sure any girl would have if her loved one had sex with someone else, but not you. Ravel, I know it's a long shot, but why not see if Michael could make some sort of exception to allow you and Issei to be intimate and not fall? I'm thinking about it, a holy dragon in your ranks will be very beneficial. Irina, I never thought about it like that. Ravel, because you're not thinking wide enough like yours truly. Irina, holding back a laugh. Ravel, confused, what's funny? Irina, holding back a laugh, you said I'm not thinking wide enough, think about it. Ravel, embarrassed, blushing, hey, I told you that in confidence, don't make fun of my head. Irina, holding laugh, I'm not you the only one bringing up the wide things. The two burst out laughing at each other. Back with Issei. He could be seen lying next to Yusaka holding her in his arms. Issei, out of breath, holy crap, that was amazing. Yusaka, out of breath, I'm so tingly, my legs still feel like jelly. Issei, glad I was good enough for you. Yusaka, if you're having doubts about your performance then you were perfect and nothing lower, nothing better than perfect wouldn't change a thing. Issei, I'm glad. Yusaka, come with me to the baths, we still have a day to get through. Issei, want me to carry you like we just got married? Yusaka, you know how to make a lady feel special. They went to the bath and just cuddled in the water for a few minutes, then once they got dressed they went out to greet everyone. Kunu came running to Issei and she hugged him again tightly. Issei, hey, what's wrong? Kunu, nothing, I just want to give you a hug, I missed you a lot. Smiles. Issei, right, we can get ice cream when your mother says you finished your teachings for today, alright? Kunu, okay, I can do that. Smiles. Yusaka, Feel free to walk around the area when you are here, it's your home too. Issei. Sure thing smiles. He let Kunu down, and she and her mother left. He went to his room to find Roswa sitting in bed reading a book. Roswas. Oh, you're back. I must ask, how was it to be with one of the most beautiful women in the universe? He fell face first into the pillow next to her, turned to his side, and faced her with a goofy smile. Issei. I'm in bliss. Ross was laughing. I would say well done, but the fact you tired and I can see the amount of love bites around your neck shows it was a good time. Issei. Yay, let's not talk about those right now. Ross was chuckling. Sure thing. Issei. So what did you have planned for today? Ross was. Well, I was going to relax for the rest of today. I went for a walk and saw a few stores I'm going to go to tomorrow, but other than that, what did you have in mind? Issei. Treating you, Yusaka and Kunu to dinner. Ross was. What's the occasion? Issei. Because I feel like it, plus I never got to celebrate much when I was told I was made high class, but couldn't get the rank because I'm not a devil anymore. Ross was. Shocked. Oh yeah, I forgot about that, tell me about it. Issei. Well. He explained how he was awarded the rank after his fight, but since he freed himself, but they were ready to make him a devil again, but he ultimately decided not to, since he is free to do as he pleases now, but he still got his rank regardless. Issei. And that's all she wrote. Ross was. Well, that was interesting, to say the least, but still congrats. Issei. Thanks Miles. Ross was. Then where do you have a place in mind for dinner? Issei. I'm thinking something fancy but not too fancy. There are a lot of stores and restaurants here, and the food is always good. Ross was. Alright then, so what are you going to do for the rest of the day? Issei. Well, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I started producing a bit of fire when I fought Sererg, so I want to see what I can do with that, but later today a new song of mine will be dropped, so you will see it on TV and on the radio too. Ross was. Oh, what's its name so I know? Issei. If I'm correct, it's called Parasite and the other Bleed. Ross was. Interesting names. Issei. Well, the song was made when I was still angry and what I felt at the time, the producers say that the song should do very well, so I said sure. Ross was. Well, if they liked it so much then I can only assume that it's good and probably catchy. Issei. Well, I'm going to go and play with fire, be ready around 4ish for dinner. Ross was. Alright, enjoy and don't overwork yourself. Issei walked through the land and all the Yokai children came running to him to greet him as the Red Dragon Emperor. Child 1. Red Dragon, what are you doing here again? Are we in danger? Issei. No, you're not in danger, I'm on holiday. You see, I was hurt in my last fight and Lady Yusaka is busy healing me so I can fight better. Child 2. Wow, that's so cool, so are you going to go and train now? Issei. Yeah, actually, do you know a place where I can have open space? Child 3. Yay, follow us. He followed the children and saw the open field. It was wide enough to use large fire attacks and not damage the forest surrounding them. Issei. Perfect. Child 4. Red Dragon, can we watch? Issei. Sure, why not? You probably just going to laugh at me. Child 1. Why's that? Issei. I have no idea what I'm doing, so it's probably going to blow up in my face. Child 3. That's alright, we still want to watch our hero train. Issei nodded and walked to the center and sat down and meditated. Issei. Dreg, alright, help me out here buddy. Dreg. Let me see, I think don the armor and first see if any changes were made. Issei. Sure. The children watched as the armor appeared on his body, but then changed to scales growing around his body, giving the armor a new shape. He looked at the scales and could see small embers leaving his body. The heat from the fire was a calm yet dangerous feeling as he felt it run around his body. Issei. So it's clear I have a boost in fire now. Dreg. I feel it flowing around your body. Try to focus on the power within and see if you can bring it out. Issei. Okay, on it. He closed his eyes and felt the heat moving around his body and forced it to his hands, then his hands caught a light and the fire was bouncing around in his hands. Issei. Whoa, this looks cool, but now how can I use it? Dreg. Try it on the sword. Issei pulled out Ascalon and tried to make it catch a light and it only started sparking and nothing else. Issei. That's new, let me see if I swing it around. He sliced down and it made a huge slice of fire and hit a nearby try and left a massive cut in it with a bit of burn damage too. Issei. Shoot, that looks like it can be used a lot if I use it properly. Dreg. Agreed. Issei powered down the armor. Issei. Okay kids, don't freak out, this is new, I want to see if I can bring it out again. Child 1. What do you mean? Issei. Just watch, okay. They nodded in excitement. Issei. You ready? Dreg. Well, it has never been done before so I wouldn't know. He closed his eyes and forced all his power to bring out this transformation. He could feel the scales and tail growing and his teeth getting sharper. He burst into flame and the transformation took full form. He let off a roar and it alerted some of the adults and they came running to see the large creature in front of the children. Adult 1. What is that? Children. Happy it's the Red Dragon Emperor. The form was huge, it was on the taller side of things. He looked at his body and it felt normal, but like this, his magic was completely different, the flow had changed and it felt better, it felt stronger, and his old techniques were weaker than this. Issei. Well, this is different. He dropped the form and looked at his body. It was weird, the feeling of his magic changing didn't change, it stayed like it was. Greg. It seems to have fully unlocked a new permanent power-up for you. It's a good thing that we only tried this when nothing big was going on. Issei. True, but first things first. He tried using another power, and his right arm turned white with a blue gem, then it turned into scales, and like his red gauntlet was. Issei. Looks like power form volley would be able to do the same if he tried. Ryag. We keep it to ourselves, we don't want the white one to get stronger. Issei. Agreed, but let's see how far I can go. Let's see if I can still use the dragon blasters like this. He focused and the blaster took form around the front of his arm. It was smaller than when he uses them on his wings. Issei. Wait a second, if I can do it like this, could I? He made it go away and put his hands together, and it made a super large blaster that looked like it could completely destroy the enemy. Issei. Oh, I'm so abusing the hell out of this. He thought of how he used his tail now and then, and its blaster turned into his tail. He was able to use it like a whip, and then he got creative and added his fire to the whips, and they made a cracking sound with each hit. Issei. I think that's enough for today, I don't need to use up all my magic energy, but I have so many ideas now, and I think my armors have a new set design as well. Greg. You are pushing the limits of your powers every day, I'm impressed. He looked to the side and saw the kids' parents looking at him. Issei. So kids, how was that? Kids. That was so cool. Issei. Alright, let's get back before your parents get upset, they already look upset. I'm sorry. Kids happy? Okay. They took their parents away and he shrugged and walked behind them while they ran in front of him, laughing and copying the things they saw him do. Now he smiled as they played in front of him. As they arrived back at the temple, he saw Yusaka and Kunu walking out. When he looked at Yusaka, she was more covered up and showing less of her body. As he got closer to them, they smiled at him. Kunu ran to him and he picked her up. Issei. Were you good and finished your training? Kunu. Yes, I finished my work and I was good. Issei. Then we can get ice cream, but before that, Yusaka Kunu, would you like to come to dinner with me? Yusaka. What's the occasion? Issei. I just feel like celebrating. Yusaka. We would love to. Smiles. Issei. It's going to be a public place, would you like to go in your traditional clothing or would you like to change? It's your choice. Yusaka. Perhaps to blend in a bit, we wear more natural attire to not stand out as much. Issei. If it works for you, I have no issues. Kunu. Excited, let me go get changed quickly. He let her go. Issei. I've noticed you are more covered up than normal. Yusaka. Well, you are my lover now, my body is only for you to see. Issei came and gave her a kiss and she kissed back. Issei. Well then, I have no issues with that, but I have to go and fetch Roswasil back to fetch you too in a few minutes, I still need to freshen up. Yusaka. Don't take too long, lover. Issei. Never smiles. He quickly went to his room to freshen up and put on a black shirt with black pants. As he got out of the bathroom, he saw Roswis in a dark blue dress that complemented her figure extremely well. Issei. Wow. Roswis. Blushing, so I'm assuming I look good. Issei. Good doesn't even begin to cover it. Roswis blushing, thank you. Issei. Issei. Come on, let's go. They walked to the temple again and found Yusaka and Kunu waiting for them. Yusaka wore a dress that made her look even better, with her hair tied up differently, which made him shocked even more. Kunu had on a dress herself, it was cute, it suited her with the frills and all. Issei. You two look amazing. Both. Thank you. Issei smiles. Issei. Now then, ladies, who is going to sit in front? Roswis. Yusaka may sit in front, I don't mind. Issei. Are you sure? Roswis. Positive. Smiles. Issei. Well, alright then. He moved the seat so Roswis and Kunu could get in. Issei. Roswis, do you mind helping Kunu with her seatbelt? Roswis. Sure, of course. As she was helping Kunu be strapped in, he let Yusaka get in, and she hid her tails and got comfy in the passenger seat. He helped her get strapped in, being both their first time being in a car. He started the engine, and both were amazed. Issei. Alright, let's go. He carefully pulled away, and then once on the road he started speeding. He could hear Kunu laughing, and the same could be said for Yusaka, she was just laughing, while Roswis couldn't help but laugh as well. As they came by the restaurants, they slowed down. Issei. And how was it? Yusaka. It was one of the best things I have experienced in my lifetime, thank you. Kunu. It was so fun, I want to do it again. Issei. Maybe when there's less traffic. They stopped at the restaurant and entered. Issei ordered the food, and because of his newfound fame, they let them have some starters which they enjoyed. The night went smoothly with some kids and adults coming to greet Issei. He let the kids take some photos with him and all, and they ended the night with ice cream and Kunu falling asleep on Issei's lap. It's clear she enjoyed the night. He drove them home, and they all went to sleep. When he got into bed, he didn't expect Roswis to snuggle up to him and just hold him in his sleep. Issei. Maybe this time things will be better. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.